promise you, if doing the most was a person, it would indeed be me today. You guys, when I deal with raw meat, I also like to clean up and make sure I get rid of the that we're not gonna have any of the, what you call it, cross-contamination. I use my Clorox spray plus my Dawn. So all of that stuff I was just using, will definitely use that to really clean it. In addition to my hands, you know, I had already thoroughly washed my hands. But once I started dealing with that raw meat, I had to wash them again. So don't be in the kitchen with nasty hands and dealing with raw meat, because that's just nasty. Now y'all listen. I was getting ready to fix dinner, true story, and I wanted to experiment. And when I say a total experiment it is, I wanted to make, my husband loves, my dude number one, aka my husband, he loves cubed steak. He loves it. So I thought, how about I try to do some cube steak meatballs? Well, when I started handling the meat, of course the cube steak is cut in the slices that you saw. And I tried to kind of bend it over and see if I can, you know, mush it like you do hamburger. Honey, that cube steak was saying, no can do. So then, I had it on my little platter here, and I thought I could maybe kind of chop it up with this. Negative. Then from there, I started cutting it with my scissors. And I could have done that with my kitchen shears. I could have done that, but I said this may take a little bit of time. And I really did not want to use my little Ninja to cut up the meat, because for whatever reason, me putting meat in my Ninja and them blades, cutting it up, it just kind of grossed me out. For whatever reason. But in order to be done before Thanksgiving, I figured let me go on and just try this and see if it will work. So that did work. What I don't know is, I'm going to sit this over here on my sink and I'll get it in a few minutes. What I don't know is if these meatballs are going to work. Okay? And y'all, let me make sure I do not have any raw meat. Any raw meat or raw meat juice on my hands after dealing with that meat. So like I say, because this is a total experiment, and I just wanted to bring you all along with me. This is the kind of stuff I do in the kitchen. Some great discoveries are made when you just experiment. But everybody isn't crazy like me to do it on camera. But this is what we're going to do. Alright, we're going to try. We'll just see. I have about 2 pounds of the cube steak that I've kind of grinded up a little bit. Alright. I'm hoping when I add certain ingredients that it's going to help bind it so I can make the little meatballs. Alright. Now, because this was not really a planned recipe, when I came in the kitchen and I wanted to start just making this is what I do. I just start pulling stuff out that I want to use. Sometimes if I don't have everything that I want or would have wanted, then I just kind of use what I have. Okay, and I'm going to give you an example of what I'm talking about. I will give you as many measurements as I can in the description box below. And we'll just see how this turns out, okay? So the 2 pounds of the cube steak. Now I'm going to season the meat. I'm going to use a lot of the seasonings that I use when I season my cube steak, just to fry them and then put them in the oven. So I'll be using a little bit of seasoned salt. And I'm just going to sprinkle, okay, like I was seasoning my meat. I'll use a little bit of the dynamic duo, the garlic powder, and the onion powder. Of course, we need to add a little bit of pepper. So I have some black pepper. I'm gonna use a little bit of this Dijon mustard. Dijon mustard. And that may be about a 1/4 cup of it. I'm gonna squeeze some of this ketchup in there. I don't normally put the mustard and the ketchup in my cube steak, but we're gonna add it to that today. In the mixture of the meat, I'm going to use 1 pack of this beefy onion soup mix. And then when I make the onion gravy to go with it, I'm going to use a pack of this onion soup mix, okay? Now this is an example. Okay, wait a minute. 2 eggs. I have 2 large eggs here, okay? Now this is an example of me using what I have. Because I want to use some bread crumbs, I want to use 1 cup of bread crumbs. Normally, I would just use some regular bread crumbs, okay, from just like bread. Honey, I'm so sick of seeing these things sitting in my what that's called, my pantry. I say we're gonna use this one. This one is a panko seasoned with some Romano cheese, and this one right here is Italian breadcrumbs. Honey, I don't think it's gonna make that much of a difference. I just don't. But y'all, this is how I cook. Alright, so I need 1 cup, so we're going to use what's left of this panko so I can get y'all out of my pantry. Into the recycling bin you go. And then the Italian, that little bit of Italian flavor, honey, I just don't believe it's going to make that much of a difference. And if it does, it's going to give me some good flavor. How about that? So we mixed the 2 and got 1 cup. This is literally the kinds of things that I do when I cook. So I just thought I'd turn the camera on so I can talk to y'all. Okay. Now, when I start making the gravy, I'm going to start off with, because we love gravies and sauce. My husband is going to have some rice. And he's going to want gravy all over the top of it, okay? We like our gravy a little loose, not too thick where it's kind of like coming out like a glob. No, we like loose gravy. So I'm starting with 3 cups of beef broth. I may or may not need it all, but we will see, okay? In order to make my beef broth, I use Better Than bouillon. I love this Better Than bouillon. It is concentrated. This is the roasted beef base. So I had my 3 cups of hot water. I added a little, maybe not quite 2 tablespoons. But the good thing about it is you can taste it. You can taste it first. So I would suggest start with a tablespoon because it is concentrated and, you know, it can be a little salty. So start with the 1 tablespoon. Get it mixed up really good. Taste it to see if you're tasting enough of the roasted beef flavor. If not, add some more, okay? Because it's easier to add more than to make it too salty, and then you have to add more water to it, all right? Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And then when I make my onion gravy, I have some, this was what was left of the onion I had in the refrigerator, okay? And we're going to put some onion over the top, and then we're just going to let it simmer. And then we'll top it off at the end. I don't have any fresh, but let's see. Y'all already know. I'm going to top it off with some parsley flakes, okay? Okay. So, let's see. I'm going to use, I don't want my hands all in the meat. And you guys, I don't cook at home with gloves. That's why I just never wear them. That's not how I cook. So I'm not using gloves, but I'm very mindful. I don't believe in mixing up meat with my hands and then I'm getting my fingernails all down in there. Y'all, that's nasty too. Because you'll be surprised what's up under these fingernails. Although you wash your hands good, you really need to scrub up under your fingernails. So I'm very mindful of, that makes me cringe too. When folk mixing up meat and they have their fingernails all down in it. So I'm going to use something to, and I even took off my little thumb rings too. But I'm going to use something to kind of mix it up. And then when I form it into the balls, the meatballs, I'm gonna be very mindful and, you know, kind of do it like in the palm of my hands. All right. Okay. So let's see. Let's start with the easy stuff. We're gonna start with my seasonings. This is the black pepper. Like I said, you guys, I'm just gonna sprinkle it on. I'm not gonna measure. Just sprinkle it in. Okay. Next we have some garlic powder. Sprinkle that in. Our onion powder. And you guys, I just realized too, I forgot to mention my Worcestershire sauce and my liquid smoke, okay? That's the onion powder. A little bit of the seasoned salt. Be mindful of this. Don't do too much. We have some Worcestershire sauce. Do you guys struggle to say that too? Ooh, goodness. Maybe about, you know, maybe about a tablespoon. And then I just want to do a little bit of this now. The liquid smoke, you guys, don't overdo the liquid smoke either. That can be a bit much, okay? Just a little bit. It gives it that little smoky flavor, but it is easy to do too much. Our ketchup, we're going to use maybe about half a cup. And we have our Dijon mustard. I'm just going to do a little. And maybe about, that may be about, ooh, about a tablespoon. Okay. Let's see. The onion is for the gravy. We're going to do one of our beefy onion packs. Well, I don't even know if this is going to work. I'm hoping that, ooh, child, I'm hoping that with the eggs and the breadcrumbs, it's going to help bind all of this together to at least help me form a meatball, y'all, okay? We have our 2 eggs, or 2 large eggs. And then we have our 1 cup of breadcrumbs, okay? So we just want to get everything thoroughly mixed. And like I say, hopefully I'll be able to form a meatball. And I have my skillet here. Let me go on and get it turned on. I have just a little bit of vegetable oil in it. You can kind of see what we have going on. I don't want the meatballs totally covered, okay? So that may be a couple of tablespoons. You can also add a little bit of butter to that if you want to. Take my potato masher, because y'all, I don't like my hands all in meat like this. Even when I do my meatloaf, honey, I do not like putting my hands all in the meat to mix it up. Okay. And that's it. That's all we're going to do. We have it mixed up good. Now let's see if I can form a patty. Not a patty. cube steak patties if I can form a little meatball. I hope so. And y'all, I'm not going to tell my husband what they are. Y'all know me. I just want him to taste it to see if he can tell. Because he's not going to think cube steak if he sees it in meatball form. And like I've said, you guys, because we are so simple with our eating, sometimes I just, you know, have to get creative. Make you feel like you're eating a different kind of meat simply because it looks different. But honey, it's the same thing. Because I told y'all, we are simple, boring eaters. Uh-oh. Okay. Let's see. Uh-oh, we might be all right, y'all. See. Okay. I think that'll work. Y'all, we have a meatball. Look at her. So we're going to keep rolling up these little meatballs. That's all right there. Let's see. Let me find out. But when I tell y'all this was just the most, having to get this meat all minced up like this, I'm like, girl, listen, what you doing? Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to keep forming these little meatballs. And then we're just going to add them to the grease, okay? I want them browned. And they won't be totally done. So, but when I make the gravy and put them back in the gravy, they're gonna simmer, and then that way they'll get fully done, okay? Okay, I like to do my little water test with my grease to see if it's hot enough. Just do a little water. You don't have to do that much. Getting that little sizzle, that lets me know that our grease is ready to rock and roll. So we're just going to add these meatballs. We're going to get them cooked. And then once they're all done, we'll be ready. We'll have to take them out. Let them drain a little bit, and then we'll be ready to make our gravy. I do want to be mindful not to overcrowd my frying pan. Now since I have so many meatballs, I'm gonna have to switch pans, okay? Because the current pan, my skillet is not going to accommodate the gravy and the meatballs. So I'm gonna switch pans, but I want all of this goodness out of this pan. Let's see, let me switch hands. Ooh. All of the drippings in the bottom, that makes for some delicious gravy. You see all that is kind of stuck on the bottom of the pan. I want all of that, okay? Whew. Now I'm going to show you how I make my gravy. Let me let you guys down a little bit. I know some people start with the boiling broth or water or whatever they're going to make their gravy with. They start with the boiling liquid and then add a slurry to it. But when I'm really making homemade gravy, this is how I make my gravy. Let me bring you guys up a little bit and over so you can see exactly what I'm doing. Okay, now I'm going to start by using a packet of this onion soup mix. And I might have to add a little bit more flour to it, all-purpose flour as well. I'm using this Lipton onion soup mix because it's going to give me a lot of flavor in my gravy, okay? So we're going to pour that in. And I'm mixing it with this grease, all of the residue and goodness that was left from the cube steak meatballs. Now this already has a brown tint to it, that Lipton onion soup mix. But if I were using a regular flour, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to add just a little bit, maybe not quite. This is not quite a tablespoon of all-purpose flour. Not quite, okay? And hopefully this will help those of you that struggle making gravy. So had I added that all-purpose flour by itself, it just would have been really pale. Kind of like a white look, but you know, it would have been pale. And what you want to do is definitely keep it moving. But now I'm going to whisk it until it gets to my desired color. Now we like a dark gravy. We usually don't care for a real light gravy. We like our gravy to be dark, but you have to be careful because you can scorch it, okay? Y'all, this is making gravy lesson 101. There's another video where I went in detail too about how to make gravy. If I find it and I remember, I'll link it up here too. Because I think when I made that gravy, I didn't use the onion soup mix. I just used flour and then the drippings from whatever it was I was frying. It may have been from my cube steak video. In any event, like I said, keep your eyes on it. I don't know if you can tell that it's getting darker. It's getting a little smoky too, but it's okay. Now I have my broth over here that's ready to go. And I just feel like I want to add a little bit more flour, so that probably would have been a good tablespoon, okay? But like I say, watch it. Do not let it scorch. Okay. Just looking at it to see if it's dark enough for me. Give it maybe a few more seconds. You know, they actually have something you can buy too that will help darken your gravy for those that may want to use that. Okay, so now it's time to start adding this water. Now this is really hot, okay? Be careful because it's going to steam up. So I usually start by pouring just a little bit. Now my better than bouillon had kind of settled in here, so I needed to stir it up a little bit. You see just that little bit of steam? So be careful when you pour it. I'm just going to pour it a little bit, and I'm going to kind of stand back a little bit as well. You want to make sure you keep it moving, okay? You see how dark that is? That's how we like our gravy. You'll notice as you continue to stir, it'll start thickening up. And in stirring it, that's what's going to ensure that you don't have lumps. Don't nobody like no lumpy gravy, honey. No lumpy gravy. Y'all see how thick that's gotten? I'm going to pour a little more. But see, now it has really cooled down this pan, so it's not really sizzling anymore like it was. And I love to make gravy in my cast iron skillet. Love, love, love it. But like I said, honey, all of these meatballs were not gonna fit. Okay, so now at this point, I think we're okay. We're not gonna be lumpy. And I'll still just start adding it slowly. All while keeping it moving. Y'all, this is how my mama used to make gravy, but she did it with just plain flour. Now before I add anything to this flour or to this gravy, I'm going to taste it because that Lipton onion soup mix had flavor to it. That was a flavorful packet. Now if by chance, once my gravy is done and it's simmered for a little bit and it's not thick as I want it, at that point I can always make a slurry and add it to it to thicken it up. I just don't like for it to be too thick in the beginning, because then that means I'm going to either have to throw some of it away. When I add more water, it may be too much for my pan, and then having to add my meat, just too much. So, okay, so we'll keep stirring this. I'm going to add some more, and I think we're okay now and don't have to worry about it being clumpy and lumpy, okay? Okay, can you see the difference in the gravy now that it has thickened up? See that? And the little pieces that you see in it are the little pieces of onion from the onion soup mix. But it's not lumpy, it's not clumpy, it is smooth. That's how you want your gravy to look. So now I'm going to add back all of my meatballs. And I can do this quicker with my hands. Y'all, that's why it's so important to have clean hands in the kitchen, because I do a lot of using of my hands. And when I'm cooking, oh my goodness, I probably wash my hands about 5 to 10 times or more, depending on what I'm cooking and, you know, what's going on. Ain't nobody got all day to be trying to use a little spatula or spoon to put these meatballs in this pot. Y'all see that? Ooh, child, this is getting ready to be some good eating. And then some of the meatballs are a little more charred than others. You know how some of you all like your hot dogs charred? Get you a good old charred meatball. Look at that. Yes, yes, and yes, honey. Okay. So now what we're going to do, I don't like no messy looking pan. I can't stand it. Me can't like it. As my niece would say, me can't like it, honey. Yeah, that's just a pet peeve of mine. I just can't stand it. So like I said, now we're gonna simmer for, I'm gonna turn it down. Y'all, we will probably be simmering for at least about an hour. Want to make sure that the meatballs are done all the way through, because I really just cooked them long enough to, you know, kind of brown them on the outside. So we don't like any pink, honey. No pink. They have to be well done. So that's it. We're going to cover and let them simmer. Let's see, we're going to add, oh, excuse me, y'all. Excuse me. Add a little bit of pepper on the top. Just a little bit. Cover. I've turned it down to low, and we're just gonna let it simmer. Y'all, it's dinner time. I think he's gonna struggle trying to figure out what he's eating. I don't think he's gonna automatically know. I'm making sure he's not coming this way. I don't think he's gonna automatically know that it's cubed steak meatballs as opposed to just like a regular meatball. Like, I don't think he's gonna eat it and say, this tastes like cube steak. Let's see. In any event, we'll see. We shall see. Well, I feel like I've been in the kitchen all day. Lord have mercy. All day.
What?
I was talking to the family.
Hey fam, how we doing, people?
You want me to put it on this plate?
How's everybody doing?
You put it on this plate or the round plate?
I want to put it on a fancy plate because I'm fancy.
You want to
today.
put it on? Okay, get the fancy plate there, baby.
Okay, people, I know I don't look fancy, but let me tell you something. These are not, well, nevertheless, fancy. I'm fancy. That's what I feel. Well, I identify as fancy. So, I'm taller than him.
Just y'all, just a little bit.
No, that's for the short people.
Listen, okay, that's a little bit better. Now I'm not gonna fix your whole plate right now. You just need to do this.
What in the world?
Why you say what in the world like it's something that look crazy? You put some rice down first, cause you see you have some gravy.
Is this meatballs or beef tips? Beef? What we got?
Baby, do that look like a tip, or does it look like a ball? I'm just gonna put a little bit on your plate.
Just put a little bit,
Wait
baby.
a minute. Baby, listen, don't put that in your mouth. It's hot.
I'm not gonna burn my mouth, and I ain't beef.
Wait, babe.
Eat a little bit at a time.
You won't even let me get your plate
Okay,
fixed
baby,
up.
fix the plate.
Why won't you cooperate? You act like you be about to just starve.
I am not. I'm starving.
You're not, babe. You're not.
What in the world, that little plate?
It's just a sample, babe. I'm gonna put more on it.
Okay, this is a sample. Can I have a little sample, a little more gravy, please? Can I sample a little more gravy?
Told y'all he like gravy. Now look, you act like. Oh.
I got this, people. I got this. People, I'm in the middle of maintenance in myself.
Baby, don't do that. Don't do that, okay?
Don't do what?
Don't do that.
Don't do what? I'm
Been tired of hearing about that.
tired of hearing about what me maintenance in myself.
Cause you and we ain't doing nothing. Okay. Let's see. Are you gonna look up, sir? Hey. Yeah, why won't he cooperate? Baby, push my glasses up on my face. Don't be funny.
I'll protect you.
Baby. You get on my nerves. Okay, so I can see what you're doing back there. Wait a minute, I've got this back right here. I knew something looked funny. So baby, tell me what you're eating. Don't be looking mean or like something wrong.
What do you mean?
Messing up my thumbnail.
What you mean what I'm eating?
What you eating?
Rice and meatballs.
What kind of meatballs?
What got meatballs? Hamburger meatballs?
No.
You got steak meatballs?
What does it taste like? A regular meatball?
Donna, what you got me?
Does it taste like a regular meatball? Huh?
What you got me eating, Donna?
Does it taste like a regular meat? It's a meatball. I'm scared now.
Yeah, where my kids at?
What you mean, where your kids at?
I'm sure my kids okay for fun.
What? What for you what?
You ain't cook my kids every year.
No.
I don't know what I'm eating, Donna.
You eating food. What you for?
What am I eating, Donna?
You might be eating a donkey meatball.
Don't say that, Donna. I got something still in my mouth.
Oh, I'm sorry now. Why'd you get a plastic fork, baby?
Donna, because I just saying I got something.
I have to get you another fork.
Well,
what does it taste like?
What is it supposed to taste like? What's it supposed to taste like?
It's supposed to taste like a meatball, babe. But I just want to know.
What kind of meatball?
Wait a minute.
Okay, what kind of meatball? Look, if I say something that did something, I'm sorry, babe. I'm so sorry. I love you so much.
Baby, it's nothing bad. I wouldn't do that to you.
You promised me. You promised me.
Yes, I promise you.
Oh, I love you so much.
I love you too, babe.
Thank you.
I fixed you some good meatballs.
Call my kids and make sure I'm okay. I'm just saying, what kind of meatball? What else kind of meat?
It doesn't remind you of any particular meat?
What kind of meat else? I'm confused now.
Okay. It's cube steak.
Okay, that's cube steak meat. I was just saying I want some more.
Does it taste like cube steak meatballs?
I'm saying, look.
You thought it was going to be some
look,
what? Look, girl, I remember eating some elephant meatballs, some donkey meatballs.
In this day,
I wouldn't do that to you. I'm surprised you didn't say, baby, you eat some. Why you just gonna stand in front of me?
In this day and time, people, what you gotta do is make sure. Look, I love Donna. Donna love me, but she might not love me one day.
I was gonna say, how you just gonna stand in front of me and me talking smack?
What is cube steak meatballs?
Yeah, I was experimenting. Honey. I don't know if it's a cube steak meatball. I just thought I'd try one. And then I wanted to talk to the family.
How you get a cube steak meatball?
I had to end up grinding that meat up to make them in
so
the
you grind up the cube steak?
Yeah. And then I mix, put some stuff in and mix it up and made them in meatballs. And cooked them and then put them in the gravy and let them simmer for a while. You alright? Okay, but now that you know that it's cube steak, does it taste like cube steak? Or has the fact that it's a meatball just thrown you off and you just feel like it's just a regular hamburger meatball? Can you tell the difference?
No.
Because
I was able to taste the difference immediately, but
wait a minute. When you say taste the difference, you knew it wasn't a hamburger meatball.
I knew that.
Okay.
But then again, you think, no, seriously, sometimes you think with different brands.
Okay. Brands of meat?
Yeah, with different brands you may have a different taste.
Okay.
Like some meatballs may be seem like it's a little more tough.
Okay.
This, I could tell it was more,
is it tender?
Yeah, it's tender. That's the word I was looking for.
That's because I simmered them. I simmered for at least about an hour.
So I could tell it's a little more tender. I could tell that immediately. But I just thought, different meatballs, different.
But now that I said it tastes like cube steak. And I didn't know if it was going to work or not. Because, when I had the piece of cube steak and I tried to fold it over, it was like, it wasn't, you couldn't,
so.
What I'm trying to say, you know how you do a hamburger and you could just mix it and it's kind of mushy?
It would not gel together.
It wouldn't do that. No, not gel together.
But it would not.
It just wouldn't move. It wouldn't.
Well, the meat didn't stay together.
And I was trying not to have to pull out my little ninja thing to grind it up. But I didn't have a choice to make it. Baby, okay, I have your plate to fix. That was just a little sample.
Oh,
I know you got your greens and stuff over
here. I thought you were
going
to get this all
like eating 2 years.
So I've been working.
Okay. I know, babe. I appreciate you. I appreciate you so much for working hard. So I just want to do something different because I say we're so boring with our eating. I was just trying to, how you fix the same kind of thing, but you fix it a different way to make it seem like you got something
in all honesty, people, what's that crawling on your window? It's a big grasshopper.
Yeah, the one that's right here we can see outside. It may be some type of grasshopper or something. Okay. Anyway.
But what was I saying?
You said in all honesty, people. I think that's what you said.
Listen. In all seriousness.
Okay.
I could immediately taste the difference, but it's like, again, different brands have a different texture, and I knew it was there, but I would have stayed if it was longer. She threw me off and she said, what kind of meatball is this? Okay, I'm thinking now for my life.
What you eat?
Yeah. And when I say, in all honesty, I'm thinking, okay, what in the world?
You are happy meat?
Yeah, well, is this, I thought she was going to say something like,
meatball.
No, I thought she was going to say something like, that's not really meat.
Oh no.
Like a vegetarian, they have the Impossible Whopper, but that was an Impossible Meatball. But
let me let them see it on the inside because I want to make sure.
So that's what, but you can taste it, and it's a win-win for you guys like me who love gravy and rice over, say, a cube steak or some kind of steak. Well, I have gravy and rice and steak balls. How did you come up with that idea?
I wanted you guys to see that it's done. I wanted to fix you some cube steak, but I wanted to do something different.
And that's a different take. That is really a different take.
I just wanted you guys to see
that's
the inside.
That's really a different take, but it's good. What is it? Steak meatballs?
It's cube steak meatballs.
Cube steak meatballs.
But they're more.
Can't tell about cube steak meatballs.
I never heard of it, and I just thought about it. I said, let me make
cube steak meatball. Okay, another Donna original. So listen.
I mean, they may be out there. I just don't know. It wasn't something that I looked up.
But here's the thing. It really, really, really. Now you can tell the texture. Now it makes more sense. The texture makes more sense now. It's cube steak, and so again, it's like I guess you're saying compressing it together, it won't stay compressed as if hamburger will.
Well, no, it did once I added the binders like the eggs and the breadcrumbs. Oh, speaking of breadcrumbs, the fact that I used the panko breadcrumbs that had the cheese in it, and then the Italian breadcrumbs, honey, you can't tell.
Okay, now, Donna, with something like this, you don't just say, you just say, what do you eat tonight? Meatballs and rice. Okay, that's just so, okay, American.
Okay.
Meatballs and rice. This is steak, Donna. You have to have a fancy name for it. This is not just steak meatballs, people.
It's
This is cube steak meatballs. It has to be, it's got to be Frenchy. Get a Frenchy meatball name, baby. You got to be bougie. This ain't just meat, a hamburger, this steak. So this is steak.
But babe, it would probably
This is steak meatballs.
It would probably be more Italian than whatever.
So not French. No. So Italian. How you Italian say with me?
Just keep it American. We eat some cube steak, dog. Just keep it American.
No, but Donna, you gotta be. It's fancy.
No, you don't.
This ain't just.
No, you don't.
Look,
you hear how you sound?
You serve the kids meatballs and rice or spaghetti and meatballs.
And y'all, the funny thing about it,
that's what you serve the kids. But this is an adult meal right here. So this is meatballs. Let me taste it.
Baby, you sound like you're straining.
Babe,
stop. What in the world?
That's a French sound.
No. Why you keep saying French?
I mean Italian. I'm gonna tell you what. This would kick off right if I had a Ferrari.
Oh, anyway, listen. Now he talking crazy. Listen, hey everybody. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed, please consider doing so
by hitting the nosy.
And that's turning on that notification bell. That way you'll be notified whenever we're over here doing whatever it is we're doing. And y'all just hang in here with me while I experiment. I love it. I love to experiment with y'all.
She brings out the human in me.
Thank you all so much for watching. You can't help but laugh at yourself.
No, I'm just saying, I'm telling you, this is class. This is high end, baby. This ain't just meatballs. This is steak. These meatballs. Don't judge my.
Thank you so much for watching. We already look forward to you joining us again. You're embarrassing me.
I'm embarrassing.
Next time.
Embarrassed.
Bye.